Now this is another important part, small FOV high resolution orthogonal images and the post contrast acquisition. Now post contrast, again you can have different combination. You can have an angiogram, you can have a wipe dynamic acquisition followed by a 2D sequence in orthogonal plane, which is a little longer sequence. Now this is a small FOV orthogonal. You take a short axis and long axis. With a 1.5T, I would take this protocol, 256 by 256 matrix, and a FOV probability of 20, if not 20, 22, and the slice thickness of 3 millimeter. This uterus is little vertical and then going, it's not retroflex but little retroverted. So this will be the short axis and this will be the long axis. This is specifically good for uterine masses, endometrial CA, fibroids, or congenital anomalies. But if it is for cervix or for ovarian masses, then it will be like true axial and true coronal in as a high resolution images. This is a patient with adenomyosis. The uterus is now antiverted, so the orthogonal plane changes accordingly. Now we come to the optional sequence. 3D space is my favorite. The dynamic imaging of the pelvic floor as and when requested. MR spectroscopies are coming up for pelvic masses, and I think I would stress on T2 blade. We have used only in 1 or 2 patients. Unfortunately, I don't have the case. It was a 4-year-old child with a vaginal mass lesion. She was uncooperative, mother was unwilling for anesthesia. T2 sequences were coming bad, we were not giving Buscopan. Finally, we did the study with T2 blade, and there were diagnostic images but not of high quality. Now this is an example. I'll show a 3D space. This is a transvaginal ultrasound which shows a cystic lesion with a solid component, no vascularity on Doppler. Adjacent to it there is another tubular structure. It was a little hard to differentiate for me on ultrasound whether this cyst is separate and not part of as a continuum of the other thing. So we did a MR pelvis, and MR pelvis, as I went on sequential images, it was very easy for me to identify that the ovarian cyst is separate, which has hemorrhagic component, T2 shading, so maybe endometrioma, while the other structure which is dilated was a fallopian tube. But I've seen most of the times clinicians don't want an MR because they don't understand it. So with a 3D space, I do a 3D reconstruction. I can show them, label them that this is a cyst which is separate and this is a fallopian tube. I think I'm missing a slide where I'm showing different other examples, ovarian cyst, hydrosalpinx, other ovarian lesions where there were 3D space, they have missed out. This is another thing which I can do with 3D space. I think on our 1.5 Tesla you can do at 2 millimeter images and still have reconstructions. On the 3T we are using 1 mm images. Now this patient had an oblique uterus. We did it in true sagittal, and through Ampere I have created a true sagittal image of the uterus. But as I go further, this is a short axis, this is long axis. There is some degradation in the image quality. So to make it isotropic, we'll have to go a sub-millimeter, but I think this is the minimum right now I could go 1 mm because that it increases the time. This is another example. This is adenomyosis. Patient had dysfunctional uterine bleeding also, and I could create a MPR. This is a true coronal image through the endometrium. And I think the patient was bleeding at a time of study motion, so this flow artifact you can see as hypointensity. Oh yeah, these are the other examples. Ovarian cyst, this is adnexal mass with fluid content. These are polycystic ovarian disease. Now I've omitted the video because most of the time conferences it don't work. Pelvic floor dynamic imaging. Easiest is to do with haste. Use a single slice, you can make it 10 mm and just add 30 measurements or 40 measurements to it and start doing the sequence, and during the sequence the patient puts an stress, go through the images, bladder, as patient is stressing out, you can see there's a cystocele, bladder coming out, and the same thing go on cine and look very nice. MR spectroscopy, very few articles available. Most of them are for adnexal masses and fibroid. For fibroids, people are doing to see lactate so that they can decide about pre and pre-embolization. I have tried in few cases. Most of the time I have miserably failed. This was an excellent case. There's a cystic mass with septation in solid components. Spectroscopy on the solid component gives a very high choline peak. This is a spectra from 145 what we use for prostate. But then other cases I was not so successful. So I think in future we may have a better images and consistent. This is just with the spirit of the users meet, interact with each other. Now rationale of these sequences, first is to localize the anatomic structure. Second, characterize a lesion and look for the coexisting pelvic abnormalities. So when you go to a beach, don't look at a bikini clad girl, you look at everything. So it's very important to look at other structures, uterus, bones, nodes, other soft tissues, maybe the small bowel loops, colon loops. So you have to see everything before starting your pelvic. So anatomy, this is adenomyosis, uterus retroverted, subendometrial fibroid. This is septate uterus. This is polycystic ovarian disease. She was a 16-year-old young child. They wanted to rule out polycystic ovarian disease. Now, cyst versus solid, we all know this is the same case I showed with spectra. Cystic mass with solid components. This is a fibroid, very weird appearance. I could not explain the different, but on T1, T2 you can make out that it's solid, plus we gave contrast later. Now characterizing blood, this is T2, this is T1, complex cyst. On T2 very hypo-intense areas. On the corresponding T1 it is less hyper-intense on both. So this is shading, this is diagnostic of endometriotic cyst. Now characterizing fat, this is actually a dermoid. This is T2, this is T1 in phase, T1 out phase, T1 fat suppressed. You see two components. On the T2 there is a bright area on the top which suppresses on the T1 fat suppressed. So this is a microscopic fat. This area is little hypo on T2, hyperintense on T1 in phase, drops on T1 out phase. So this is microscopic fat. So in the dermoid you are having both microscopic as well as the microscopic fat. Now this is diffusion, V value 100. You can see the papillary projection in the ovarian cyst, bright, ADC drop. Again, as I said, the clinicians are not happy, their images doesn't help them. So good idea to superimpose, do a fusion, and it automatically gives color and they are very happy. And in the same patient, you can see there is a ADC drop in the endometrial canal. There was a polypoid. This was an adenocarcinoma and that was an endometrioid C of the endometrium. Now post-contrast acquisition, you can make a first sequence as a 3D angiogram, followed by VIBE 3 or 4 sequences and then the 2D sequences. Just example of angiogram, this is a patient with DUB, there was a AVM. This is a pre-fibroid embolization. You see the hypertrophied uterine arteries, the left side. And in the right side, you can see this vascularity. This is that big fibroid, the first case I showed. And these are vascular, so they were good for fibroid embolization. Dynamic imaging, normally I use 4 sequences at a stretch. The first one you can replace with an angiogram as per as your need. This patient, DUB, postmenopausal, you can see the endometrial canal as you go. The dynamic, it is enhancing, very much enhances on the 2D follow-up. And then this patient went for biopsy and this was endometrial hyperplasia with dysplasia. So probably she is going into a CA. Now, if your lesion is already hyperintense on the T1 fat suppressed image, on the contrast it will be very difficult to assume whether this is enhancement or the inherent hyperintensity. So subtraction is very important. You see that there is no enhancement in it. Again fusion, this is the ultrasound image, this is the T2 image and this is a contrast image which are fused on a pre-contrast image. So it gives like PET-like images and the clinicians are happy. I think I'll end it.